Yes.
If you couldn't hear me, I wouldn't have been surprised. Someone may not want to hear what I have to say. I'm going to say it anyway. My name is Malcolm Evans. I'm a 10-year-old sportsman here in Columbia. So, you're probably wondering, why am I here today? Truthfully, I'm kind of wondering that myself. I guess the short answer to that question would be my parents. You see, my parents, expected me to be here. They expected me to be here. Funny thing about us shorter people, they call us children, is that we are extremely good at matching the expectations that you adults set for us. How does that work? You see, if you expect very little from us, we will be sure to give you just that. Very little. And of course, there are some of us who go beyond the call of duty and give you nothing. Just that. Conversely, if you expect great things from us, we provide the proper resources and guidance. We will match your expectations with nothing less than greatness. It's similar to planting seeds in the soil. If you plant apple seeds, you probably wouldn't expect to see banana trees growing in your backyard. You expect nothing less than an apple and all its red delicious glory. Likewise, you get from us children exactly what you put into us. What you sow, you reap. However, for many reasons, there are children, way too many children, who don't live in an environment where greatness is expected. In the language of William Shakespeare, there's the rub. If matching expectations is organic for a child, then what happens to those children who live in an environment where there are no expectations for anything better? Oftentimes, they become participants in a cycle of hopelessness, which includes a poor or missed education, joblessness, poverty, self-doubt, alcohol and drug abuse. The list goes on and on. Sadly, the cycle repeats. Often, what makes a difference is for someone to step forward and invest in these children, giving them a reason to hope for something bigger and better, giving them something to believe in, someone who has great expectations for their lives. Thankfully, we have organizations like yours, the Continental Society, who stand in the gap, helping children to discover a vision for their lives. I believe it was the wise King Solomon who said, "For there's no vision, people perish." My father likes to paraphrase, "With a vision, the people flourish." Thanks to your efforts, for many children, visions will ensue and lives will flourish. Recently, at Black History Month Expo, presented by Powell County Public Schools and Black Student Achievement Program, I had the opportunity to share the story of William Edward Burghardt Du Bois, or W.E.B. Du Bois as you like, the great scholar, civil rights activist, and author. I would like to share a bit of his story with you also. Why? Because Du Bois's life is a shining example of the power of expectation. Du Bois was supported by a community of people. His mother, teachers, neighbors, his church, and academic donors. All believed in his abilities and supported him in his pursuit for greatness. Yes, it does take a village. In the same way the Continental societies invest in children, Du Bois's supporters invested in him. No, They didn't know exactly how Du Bois's life story would be told, but they recognized his capacity for greatness, and that greatness would fill the pages of his story. Let's face it, Du Bois put everything he had into the fight for equality. He threw everything, including the kitchen sink at the problem. His life was dedicated to the manifestation of this very moment. The moment when we would gather, not under a system called Jim Crow, but under a system of equality. His fight was to change laws. Our fight is to change minds. It seems that the last slave in America is the mind. And it has no color. The talented tenth. A phrase coined by Du Bois that described the likelihood of 1 in 10 black men becoming leaders of their race. Perhaps we are finally seeing the rise of the talented tenth, the intellectual 10% of black leaders whom W.E.B. Du Bois envisioned would advance the black race. The hope, the bright spots, the rays of brilliant sunlight poised to bring energy and life to withered souls beaten by the storms of racism, oppression, poverty, and self-doubt. What will it say? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Perhaps as we continue to energize the souls of black folk, we will also energize the soul of America. W.E.B. Du Bois was an educated man. No doubt, huh? He used knowledge as a hammer to drive in the message of equality and justice. He rejected the theory of racial accommodation and championed the idea that knowledge is true power. He once said, education is the training of men for life. He realized that it would be the power of robust and thorough education that would free black Americans from the grips of poverty and depression and allow us to soberly navigate through this thing called life. Education. Its gift to us is true power. The word power is defined as the ability to act. And education not only allows us to act, but it helps us to clearly understand the consequences of our actions. One of the great historic debates within the African American community was the one between W.E.B. Du Bois and the great Booker T. Washington. They both worked doggedly to better the African American community. Although they both fought for freedom and against injustice, the two men had different approaches. Booker T. Washington was born into slavery, believed in the concept of racial accommodation. He believed that black Americans should accept white supremacy and legalize discrimination. That blacks should not fight for social equality or the right to vote, but work to show white Americans their worth. In trade, he asked white Americans to help black people learn job-acquiring skills in agriculture and technology. He believed that hard work, a moderate education, and land acquisition would eventually lead to civil rights. Du Bois was born a free man. Much like Washington, he believed in hard work and economic independence. However, he would not accept the idea of legalized discrimination as a concession that blacks were racially and socially inferior. He believed in the power of the ballot and believed that the only way black people would truly be liberated is by liberating our minds through education. That education was the key that would open doors, freeing blacks from the prison of ignorance. He once said that ignorance is a cure for nothing. felt that Booker T. Washington's approach was passive and perpetuated the idea of black second-class citizenship. Perhaps history has ruled both men as correct in their approach. One man dealt with the pure reality of black men of his day, while another dreamt of what black men would become. W.E.B, the great African-American poet, penned a poem that highlighted the differences between the two men. I would like to recite that poem to you now. It seems to me, said Booker T, it shows a mighty lot of cheek to study chemistry and Greek, when Mr. Colin needs a hand to hold the caution on his land. And when Miss Ann looks for a cook, why stick your nose inside a book? I don't agree, said W.E.B. If I should have the drive to see knowledge of chemistry or Greek, I'll do it. Charles and Miss can look another place for hand or cook. Some men rejoice in skill of hand, and some in cultivating land. But there are others who maintain the right to cultivate the brain. It seems to me, said Booker T, that all you folks have missed the boat who shout about the right to vote, and spend vain days and sleepless nights in an uproar over civil rights. Just keep your mouth shut, do not grouse, but work and save and buy a house. I don't agree, said W.E.B. For what can property avail if dignity and justice fail? Unless you help to make the laws, they'll steal your house with trumped-up claws. A rope's is tight, a fire is high, no matter how much cash you've got. Speak soft and try a little plan, but as for me, I'll be a man. It seems to me, said Booker T. I don't agree, said W.E.B. I'm sorry, how did that slide get in there? Next slide, please. My favorite line from this poem is, there are others who maintain the right to cultivate the brain. It's when we train our brains to truly understand the question that we are able to give the correct answer. I believe that Booker T. Washington's approach got us through the Reconstruction period following the end of slavery. I believe it is W.E.B. Bois' approach that will continue to lift us and allow us to soar. Some of us spend our lives waiting for someday. You know the day when the walls fall and we become free. Some are waiting for that exceptional morning when we awake from a long night to find that we've been granted complete control of our lives. The new day when we discover that we have the power to direct our own destiny and to fashion our own world. We wait for the day when we no longer follow others, but we become the one who leads. The day when we realize we are much bigger than our problems and much more than our experiences. For those who wait no longer. Today is a new day. You are the new talented 10, sailing on the wind of expectation. Your success is not yours alone, but the result of the dream of Du Bois and others who believe in your capacity for greatness. We better ourselves in our world by believing in one another, lifting one another. This is the hope of our ancestors. I ask you again, can you hear me?
Yes.
As I said before, there may be those who do not want you to hear what I have to say. There may be those who do not want us to believe that this dream can be fulfilled if we are willing to commit and to strive doggedly to the sweet end. There may be those who do not want us to know that while we wait for the Creator is waiting for us. There may be those who are satisfied with redundant verbal flourishes that bear witness to a past of regret, emptiness, and utter incompleteness, and to a future committed to carrying the torch of that very past. There may be those who do not want us to see for ourselves, with our very own eyes, who we truly are, that we are more than mere men or women, but conquerors, that were created in the very image of our Creator. And just as we were given the gift to create life, we were also given the gift to create and recreate our own lives. There may be someone who does not want us to know that if we consume the cocktail of faith and work, we will